From the News 19 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Efren Afante with your tropical update. As 11 o'clock this morning, the National Hurricane Center had Tropical Storm Gordon now down to a tropical depression. It's moving, the winds sustained are about 30 miles an hour, gusting to 40, still transecting through the Mississippi River Valley. Northwest at about 14 miles an hour. The latest position puts it right over the city of Jackson, Mississippi. A lot of the rain still associated with it is moving through most of Alabama and then the northern portions of Mississippi with more training rainfall coming out of the Gulf. And this will be the theme at least over the course of the next 24 hours before it starts moving into the Ozarks of Missouri and then finally into the upper Midwest as an area of low pressure through the weekend and into next week. Very heavy rainfall is expected through the Midwest as we're going to be missing out on it, but they're going to be dealing with flooding. As of 11 o'clock this morning, the National Hurricane Center updated on Hurricane Florence. Hurricane Florence, now Category 3 hurricane, and you can see from the satellite imagery that a very well-defined eye in the heart of this tropical storm. A very strong hurricane, wind sustained at 125, gusting to 155. Continuing a northwest motion at about 13 miles an hour. Now, there's been a lot of misinformation on this, so make sure that you understand what you're looking at on social media and online is from accurate, reliable, and official sources. Now, the official track from the National Hurricane Center that puts out the information on this, over the course of the next 12 hours, it may weaken winds down to about 110 miles an hour, which will put it as a Category 2 and may continue as a Category 2 up until about Monday morning, Atlantic time, and winds at about 110 miles an hour. Now, notice, here's the island of Bermuda. Here's the trajectory by Monday with 110 mile an hour speeds of a Category 2 hurricane. The code of uncertainty, a very large one as it elongates through the course of the 5-day track. But this is a 5-day track. Notice it's not anywhere near Bermuda at all, let alone anywhere near the United States. And a lot of the computer models have it indicating, at least the majority of them, have it transecting into the Bermuda area over a course of 7 days. But none of these models have it actually in the U.S. eastern seaboard. None of them at all. A lot of them may be pointing in that direction, but none of them, zero of these models, indicate an actual landfall anywhere along the U.S. Atlantic seaboard. A couple models that had it moving straight up into the North Atlantic. But the key thing to remember on these tropical models, every single time they run, they will change. But at least on the 7-day track, none of them come close to making landfall in the United States. It's something we're going to be watching, but officially there is no trajectory right now that puts it right into the United States, at least officially that the National Hurricane Center would be watching. Now, we are watching a tropical wave that has a 90% probability of developing, and this is off the African coastline just to the west of the Cape Verde Islands. Notice the X of where it's located. Here's Hurricane Florence, and here's where the very likelihood of the tropical development within the next 5 days. There's a 50% chance it's going to develop within the next 48 hours. So let me introduce to you tropical wave Invest 92L. And a lot of you ask, well, what is this depiction of Invest 92L? Well, it's simple, and let me explain to you properly what it means. Invest is the name that they've given it. They're investigating. 92 is a designation number, and L is low pressure. So the National Hurricane Center is investigating 92 designation area of low pressure. It's currently positioned right now well off the coast of Africa, just to the south of the Cape Verde Islands. Wind sustained at 30 miles an hour. And again, it's just a tropical wave, so a lot of showers and thunderstorms associated with this. Very poorly organized, as it should be as a tropical wave for now. This area of low pressure is continuing to move to the northwest at about 15 miles an hour. There is no official track from the National Hurricane Center because it is not a tropical storm yet. However, the 7-day model tracks, these are multiple tropical models, some of it having continuing into the Atlantic and then moving a little bit northwest, a few having it moving more north than west, a couple of them have it taking a beeline straight out west. But keep in mind, these are 7-day tracks. There's going to be a lot of change. But notice, if you take the outliers, the ones that have it just moving straight out west, there's the Lesser Antilles Islands. Puerto Rico is just a little bit off the screen. That's 7 days. It does not put it anywhere on track on top of, let alone moving through the Lesser Antilles Islands or the Central Caribbean. There's been a lot of misinformation on this, that it's already a named system. It has not been named. It still has the name 92L. So the National Hurricane Center will be watching this, which, again, there's a 50% possibility over the next 2 days that it'll become a named tropical system. There's a 90% possibility that it'll become a named system within the next 5 days. But that's it. That's the only thing that it is depicting at this point, with nothing activity as far as moving into the Caribbean. Now notice, there's another one that's going to be developing. This yellow area, a low probability, but notice there's no X on it, is because over the course of the next 5 days, there's a low-end chance for now that it may be developing. Why isn't there an X? Because any tropical activity that might develop out of this is still on the African continent. Therefore, even though that is depicting a third possibility, there's nothing out there as of yet. There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of misinformation that says this may be the 5th and 6th named storms. Well, it's still in Africa. It's not off the coast. So officially from the National Hurricane Center, we have 3 active Atlantic tropical areas that they are monitoring that actually have a designation. What's left over of Tropical Depression Gordon, that's moving through the lower Mississippi Valley, Category 3 Hurricane Florence, which right now is moving to the northwest, and Invest 92L, that's off the coast of Africa, an area of low pressure that very likely will develop, but still hasn't been named yet. That is the only 3 that is out there right now as of 11 o'clock this morning. Now, if there's any other information that's out there other than this, it is not official from the National Hurricane Center. So be very aware of the information you're seeing online, on websites, as well as on social media. Because if you see any more than these 3 as of 11 o'clock this morning, the information is wrong. We'll continue to update this information on air and online, and certainly with the latest coming down from the National Hurricane Center.